It may not seem like it now, but at some point Doctor Who was considered one of the best and most influential sci-fi series in the world. Since its premiere in 1963 and over the course of the next several decades, Doctor Who had built a massive, worldwide, multi-generational fan base. Unfortunately, like many other beloved franchises in recent years, Doctor Who ended up being hijacked by activists who had converted it into a social justice platform for divisive ideologies and heavy-handed propaganda. Although the writing had already been on the wall prior, the first big blow to the show came in 2017 when Peter Capaldi departed the series and Jodie Whittaker stepped in to replace him as the first female Doctor, with Chris Chibnall running the show into the ground. Now, making the Doctor a woman was never a good idea to begin with, but even worse was the awful writing and preachy themes shoved down viewers' throats in every episode. And after the show retconned the Doctor's origins to suggest that he was initially a diverse little girl who was pushed off a cliff and then taken advantage of, many viewers had had enough of the show's modern-day agenda peddling and jumped ship. As a result, the situation got so bad, especially when it came to the show's ratings, that the BBC had to rope in Disney to join the show's production as a financial backer, creative partner, and distributor just to save it from cancellation. Initially, when they had rehired the previous and once competent Doctor Who showrunner, Russell T Davies, to return, and the once beloved Doctor Who actor David Tennant to reprise his role as the Doctor, it seemed as though perhaps there was a genuine attempt to creatively course-correct the show in an effort to bring back viewers. At the end, though, the exact opposite happened, because it turned out that Russell T Davies was now all in on woke politics, much like the BBC and Disney. So we ended up getting a few bait-and-switch episodes with David Tennant where he was outshined by, ladies, and lectured on pronouns, and after a few embarrassing specials, Ncuti Gatwa took over the role of the new Disney-era Doctor. But Gatwa's first season ended up being a complete disaster too. Ratings tanked even worse than the Jodie and Chibs era, if that was even possible, and even Disney reportedly decided to bail on the show after the 2 seasons they were contractually tied to be involved with. And since Gatwa and RTD's second season, which has just premiered, is likely to be their last and maybe the end of the show altogether, I was at least a bit curious if there would be any kind of effort now for course correction during these final episodes, especially in the season premiere called Robot Revolution. But now that I've seen the season premiere, I can honestly say that not only has Russell T Davies not improved on what he's done, he's pretty much quadrupled down on his messaging, bringing the series to a new low. Again. But before we dive into the episode, if it's not too much trouble, please like and subscribe, as it would really help my channel. Robot Revolution starts with a flashback from 17 years ago. A guy called Alan gifts his girlfriend Belinda with a novelty certificate saying she owns a star, in the same vein as those certificates that make you a Scottish lord if you pay £100. And while presumably this is a fun and lighthearted gesture by Alan, he seems a bit of a jerk while talking to her, and I couldn't help but notice that he was a straight Caucasian male, which made me think to myself that his douchiness was no coincidence, but we'll get back to that later. Fast forward to present day, and the Disney Doctor is wearing a kilt again, because showrunner Russell T Davies loves seeing Gatwa in a kilt for some reason. Anyhow, the Disney Doctor shows up at a hospital where Belinda works as a nurse. In an attempt to find her, he accidentally shorts out the hospital's power with his sonic screwdriver, and I can only hope that they had a backup generator, or else hundreds of people may have died, although this is never really addressed in the episode. Next, we see robots invade Belinda's apartment while she sleeps, and they want to take her with them because she's apparently the queen of the universe. You see, they took that stupid star certificate seriously from all those years ago. Why would they take the certificate seriously? Yeah, don't think about it. After disintegrating a house cat, yes, this actually happens, the robots take Belinda just as the Doctor shows up, but he's too late to stop them. But couldn't the Doctor show up at her place much earlier, after he wasn't able to locate her at the hospital? Yeah, don't think about that either. Anyhow, on her way to the planet, Belinda tells her captors that her ex-boyfriend from 17 years ago, Alan, was the one who had given her the star ownership certificate, so he was actually responsible and not her. After this, we seem to witness a time fracture that also affects the Disney Doctor, who's in pursuit of the robot spaceship. Once Belinda arrives on the robot planet, a stunning and brave woman called Sasha explains to Belinda, under duress, that on this planet, the robots rule, and they're killing rebels who oppose them, and Belinda's told that she's the queen of the planet, but she must obey them. But if she's the queen, then shouldn't they be the ones obeying her? Yeah, definitely don't think about that. The robots then demand that Belinda marry an AI generator, merging her into some half-human, half-machine hybrid being. So it's kind of a Cybermen situation, but not exactly. The Disney doctor, who's here on this planet, then sneaks in a coded message, hidden in every ninth word he speaks, because apparently the robots are too dumb to notice this, I guess. When he launches an offensive against the robots, a bunch of rebels die, including Sasha, after she trusted the Disney doctor with her life. After that, the Disney doctor, Belinda, and 2 surviving rebels manage to escape, and then the Disney doctor cries because apparently he cries in every episode now. Remember when the doctor used to be charismatic, sharp, and on top of his game?
Now drop your weapons, or I'll kill him with this deadly jelly baby.
Yeah, well now he's blamed for everything and sobs constantly. Anyhow, Belinda uses her nursing skills to help the wounded rebels, and obviously the only Caucasian male rebel there is constantly blaming Belinda for everything and disrespecting her for some reason. Then the Disney doctor reveals he has 2 hearts, which wows her. He then figures out that the robots and humans on this planet were once allies, but something went wrong. And when the robots locate the rebels, Belinda surrenders, which means that all the people that died earlier to protect her pretty much died for nothing. And here's the kicker. The AI leader, it's actually Belinda's toxic Caucasian ex-boyfriend Alan, that jerk from the flashback. It turns out he's a toxic controlling gamer dude who got nabbed by the same robots after she mentioned his name. But as opposed to the stunning and brave Belinda, Alan loved ruling the planet and killing people and dominating everyone, and he also wanted to dominate her. At this point in the episode, Belinda declares that she's now on the planet of the Insouls. Yes, she actually says this, which means this episode obviously has a very blunt, toxic white male bad agenda with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer. Belinda then remembers why she dumped Alan, because he had tried to control her, dictate what clothes she'd wear, who she's allowed to text and when, and he was basically oppressing her, because that's what straight, white, toxic male gamer boyfriends do, I guess. At least in the mind of Russell T Davies, who can't seem to take any legitimate criticism from anybody, and this seems like his way of lashing out at it, by creating some type of boogeyman. The Disney doctor then slips Belinda her certificate through a Roomba, and she touches Alan's certificate with it, creating a paradox that blows him up. And after the Disney doctor saves Belinda, he tells her that she's the best. Everyone then bows to Belinda, quite literally, calling her the queen, even the one white guy who had previously been giving her a hard time. And if all of this didn't seem cringe enough for you, the Disney doctor suddenly does a Rockette-style kick and yells, "Yes, queen!" And once again, I'm not kidding, this actually happens in the episode. Now inside the TARDIS with the Disney doctor, Belinda wants to go home, but the TARDIS glitches, hinting Earth's gone or something in this timeline, and she's mad that the doctor checked her DNA without consent, for which he apologizes. Story-wise, I guess the idea of a certificate making someone a planet's ruler could have been a humorous idea if used correctly, but the execution here is absolutely terrible, drowned out by Davies' obsession with identity politics. It's funny the great lengths he goes to try to spin his failure in different ways, and what's really sad is Davies used to craft fun Doctor Who stories, and now he's completely tanked his reputation and the show itself. He's flipped off the exact fans who used to watch the show for decades, the ones who'd buy merch and attend conventions when the show was actually good, and similarly to what we've seen with franchises like Star Wars and Star Trek, this is how you kill a franchise. But if my review has somehow helped spare you from having to sit through Robot Revolution, maybe I have done some good here. In any case, if you're with me on this, please make sure to like and subscribe so that together we can keep calling out all of this woke nonsense from Russell T Davies, the BBC, and Disney. Thanks for watching, my friends. Thank you, and good day.
I am such an awesome guy. I make so many videos.